Hi guys, Tracy here. I'm going to try to re-narrate this one. I'm using this photo of my kids and their friend after Brownie Camp, and I'm using the Scraptastic kit from May, which is called Destination Unknown. I have the main kit and the add-on for that one. And so I'm just going to have a look through the paper that comes in the kit. There's that awesome Studio Calico vellum from the Sundrifter collection that I love, so I'm going to use that in this layout. And I'm having a look at this piece of Echo Park paper because it has some elements that refer to the rain. And it was a really rainy weekend. I think they got like 35 millimeters of rain or something crazy like that over the 2 days. So I'm picking out some colors, some patterns based on the colors that match with the colors in the photo. So I'm using lots of pinks because the girls were wearing pinks. And I'm also picking out a couple of teal or turquoise colors that coordinate with my daughter's shirt. And I'm having a I'm kind of thinking about what I'm going to do for my background at this point because I'm leaning towards using that piece of basil cardstock that is called patina. So I'm thinking about that, but I'm also thinking about using this L Studio, and so you're going to see me kind of go back and forth. The L Studio, the cardstock, the L Studio, the cardstock, the L Studio. And finally, I end up going with that patina cardstock. So I'm going to cut out this rain card in navy blue. I'm not going to end up using it though, but I'm going to cut it out. And I'm just kind of layering these papers together just to get a sense of what sizes I want them to be and that sort of thing. So I'm cutting them down. I am using my trimmer. I don't always use my trimmer. It kind of depends on my mood. I sometimes will tear paper like I just did with my ruler, and sometimes I'll just hack it away at it um, just with my scissors. So I'm just kind of trying to decide which side it goes on because when I tore that paper with my ribbon, it made an interesting little jig at the side, and I want to use that as part of my design. And so I want that to be on one side or the other, and I'm going to kind of orient my layout depending on that. So I'm going to mat my photo with this Dear Lizzie striped paper. Beautiful paper. And then I'm going to trim up that Amy Tangerine paper, and now this is Seafoam by Studio Calico. It's part of the Sundrifter collection, and I love that paper. Um, so I cut it with my scissors just to make it a little bit more interesting. And now here comes the Sundrifter vellum. And I punched a couple of hearts out of that. I love punching patterned vellum. Um, and I'm going to put those on at the end. So now these are things that didn't come in the kit. So far everything that I talked about so far was in the kit. These are my layering papers. I just keep them in a tray in one of my Jetmax cubes. And I picked out this little leaf. I don't know what those are called. It's like a skeleton of a leaf. And then this is some handmade paper that I got from a little stationery store. And I'm just tearing it so that you can see that it's kind of like two layers of tissue paper together. And I just want to show that. I had some crepe paper there or some crinkle paper there that I ended up not using. So now I'm just going to glue down that Sundrifter. Oh, the background paper there on my layers with all the hearts, they look like bokeh. That is from Lily Bee Designs, and I love that paper. I love all the papers on this layout. I love all the papers in this kit. This one has been a really fun one to use. So I'm just putting some pop dots in there just to add a bit of dimension in between my layers, and sometimes I curl up the sides as well. And I think I've talked about all the different papers. There's that Amy Tangerine pink one with the arrows, and the handmade one, and the seafoam one, and then the vellum. And the Lily Bee design is on the very back. So now I'm going to use these Studio Calico chipboard speech bubbles as part of my title, and so I just put them on torn up pieces of wax paper so that I could move them around and they won't lose their stickiness. So these are Amy Tangerine Goodness stickers. They came in the kit, and they're one of my favorite fonts, and these are more of those Heidi Swapp transparent letters, which I love, love, love. I've been having so much fun using them. So I'm going to staple these on like I did last time. And at this point, I'm not sure if the word good in my title is going to be in the green letters or if it's going to be in the pink. And here I am deciding to put it in the pink. So now that I've spaced out all my title and I know that it's going to fit, what am I going to do? I'm going to show it to you, and then now I'm looking for letters to put on those speech bubbles. Sorry, guys. And I decided I'm going to, instead of using letter stickers, I'm going to stamp the words that go on the speech bubbles. And so I'm using these Studio Calico letter stamps. They came in a kit, so they weren't available like as part of a retail line. But they're very similar to the stepping stone, but just much, much tinier. And I love that they're tall and skinny because you can fit long words, although the words I'm using today are not very long, in a small spot. So I'm using StazOn ink because the Studio Calico speech bubbles have a shiny coating on them, and other ink would probably smear. So I'm just using StazOn because it doesn't smear. So I've got wet, dirty, and tired, and those are going to be the words at the beginning of my title. Just going to glue that one down, the main kind of cluster. And now I'm going to start putting my letter stickers in place. So I'm liking how that's looking. And now I'm going to use my tiny attacher to staple these letters. I do like to overlap, I've said this before, but I do like to overlap these transparent stickers every here and there so that it just kind of emphasizes that they are transparent and adds a little bit of interest. Putting down a little bit more adhesive because I didn't put enough the first time. And now I'm just going to lay out where those speech bubbles are going to go. And I'm going to put a couple of embellishments up here in the corner. That paper clip is from Prima and it came in the kit. And then there's an Ormolu flare badge that also came in the kit. So I just used a foam dot that was too dimensional, so I had to replace that with a thinner one. The Stampin' Up! Ones are really thin, so I like to use them. That noted die cut piece came in the kit. It's a cameo cut and it's exclusive to the kit. And so I'm going to put that in there as one of my layers. And now I'm just going to cut a couple of strips to put at the top and bottom of this layout because it's looking a little bit plain and I just want to frame it in a little bit. So I took pieces of the seafoam paper from the Sundrifter collection and then the vellum from the Sundrifter collection. They all came in the kit and I'm going to staple them in place. And I cut them a little bit off so that they're not straight strips. And I'm really liking how this layout looks. I'm actually loving it. It's one of my favorites thus far. I'm going to do my journaling on the Lily Bee paper as opposed to on one of those mini journaling cards that came in the kit. I just decided to go right on the paper. And I'm thinking about adding these little feather pieces of chipboard. They're from Jenny Bolin and they came in the kit as well. I'm also going to put a little flag there. Those are from the Basic Gray. I think it's from the Hey You collection. And they also came in the kit. And I'm just going to, thought about using some of that twine, but I'm not gonna. I'm picking out a color of Mr. Huey's. I think it's called Pretty Pink, the one that I end up going with. Pretty in Pink or Pretty Pink. And I'm spraying these items just to, just to dress them up a little bit. I didn't want them plain. And I'm also going to add some stickles. I'm using Stickles and Cotton Candy, which is not a metallic glitter. It's more of the little pieces of glitter almost look like little pieces of shiny plastic or something, as opposed to the metallic pieces that are often in glitter. And so it's going to dry kind of bumpy. There you go. I did stickle the word noted, but I did it off screen, so you didn't see that. So basically it makes them bumpy and shiny, but they don't have the same metallic glitter that some stickles have. So I'm just placing those in place of the plain ones. It takes a long time for stickles to dry, so this is actually another day. This is actually today that I did this part. And I had those punched pieces of the Sundrifter vellum that I want to put amongst my sprinkles, but I got to put the sprinkles on first. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm using, what is that called? Seafoam is the color of Mr. Huey's I'm using here. And then I'm also using some opaque white. I'm going to cut some wax paper masks to make sure that the sprinkles don't get on the speech bubbles, because they're shiny and it would take forever for it to dry, or it just wouldn't dry. So now I'm putting those little vellum hearts in place, and I'm just using a zig pen, glue pen, to put those in place. And now I'm going to put some of those sequins around, and those came in the kit too. They came in a nice hot pink and also a white. This is going to create a bit of a dilemma for me because I feel like it's the only hot pink thing on the layout, so I'm going to try to figure out a way that I can introduce hot pink into the layers in a second. So I'm just figuring out where I'm going to put these sequins, and I probably put a little bit too much for this bottom corner. The bottom corner doesn't have as much room as the top corner, and yet I used just as many elements, so I might have been better off to put less in the bottom, but that's okay. Adding some hot pink sequences to those feathers, just because the feathers stood out as being almost like a dusty rose once they dried, and I wanted to brighten them up a little bit. Now I'm going to show you the close-up, but I'm not quite done yet, but you'll get to see the details of the things that are done. The ink did not dry. It took a long time. It's actually still not dry. And I'm not sure if that's, oops, there's a little hair there. I'm not sure if that's because of the brand of cardstock, because usually when I use pattern paper, the Mr. Huey's just soaks right in, and it might be because it's the basil that it didn't dry, but it's just taking a long time. So there you get to see those beautiful Amy Tangerine Goodness stickers. I love those. I love them because they're skinny. So again, with thin fonts, you can fit a long word in a small space. And there you get to see what that noted die cut looks like. I just peeled up the edges a little bit for some dimension. And you'll notice that the stickled pieces are not all that glittery because I use the cotton candy stickles instead of more glittery stickles. So now in a second I'm going to put down this layout and add a little bit of washi tape. So here we go. This is, I think it's from Freckled Fawn. This one I already put a piece on off camera down in the bottom right hand corner, and now I just went to my washi tape basket and I picked out, this is from Heidi Swapp. It's a really skinny neon pink washi tape, and I just stuck it in so a teensy weensy bit was showing, just so it wouldn't, I didn't want it to overpower the layout, but I just wanted to bring a tiny bit more of the neon into the layout. So that is my but still in good spirits layout. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you've got any questions, just drop me a line. Happy scrapping.